This next match review comes from us from Castor789, and they have 520 hours in the game. However, they did put a little asterisk here for me, saying that most of it is on Survivor, about 60-ish% of that. So they are fairly new to the killer game. They're not even at the 1K hours. I would say they would be adept at the game, regardless of which side it was levied in. So they're still fairly new, still freshly a spring chicken. On Batum of all maps, which is one of the worst killer maps in the game. So I wouldn't feel bad about that. You're playing Nemesis, which is a fairly strong, probably top of B tier killer. Character I do like a lot. So I can help you there. Let's take a look at your add-ons and your points. Okay, add-ons and points. Add-ons and points. All right, so these... I don't know if you're on a budget. You're probably on a budget if you don't really play killer that often. Because I don't remember the number, because there are certain niche moments where even if an add-on is the right add-on tree, like, you know, for example, on Nemesis, you want to run zombie speed detection, where certain add-ons are just like so little, like they affect so little that they're not worth running. I think a perfect example is like the skewered rat or whatever it's called for Pinhead versus like the leather strap. The leather strap is just abysmally small, so it's not worth it. Or leather belt on Pyramid Head versus like wax doll and like Burning Man painting. So like, okay, it's 0.25%. Okay. So here's the deal. Here's what you're gonna run into, right? So you're running 2 of the same add-on tree. So this being double zombie speed, which is what I would encourage you to do instead. Is a lot of people will say like Nemesis zombies are useless. And the reason they do this is because without detection, the zombies actually are kind of like lost and pointless a lot. And there's survivor ways to finagle around them that have been found as well. So you kind of want to be running detection with speed. Running just double speed raw like this, like, I don't know about that. If you really wanted that much speed, you should just be running Ink Ribbon and not running the double add-ons here. But you may be on a budget, so that's just my recommendation. In terms of your build, lethal's fine. Nowhere to hide is fine. But you don't have a kick perk to go with nowhere to hide. Hook pop, pain res is what I mean. And deadlock are good perks individually. My only thing is just kind of like nowhere to hide. I would like to see like pop goes the weasel or something here if you have it. That way, like there's, because it's not going to be truly a dry kick because you're getting info off of it, but you are going to be just, you know, kicking gens dry, which is only 2.5%, and it doesn't do that much, and it's easily undone with the tap. So if you could, I would switch out deadlock for pop or like another good kick slowdown, but if you can't, you can't, because, you know, you're fairly new at killer. You probably don't have all your teachables yet. That's just, but the build's mostly fine. Mostly fine. Okay, so you know where everybody is pretty early. I do like the choice not to run with Marvin's Blood. Marvin's Blood is kind of like a trap, or any of like the mutation add-ons, because they do become dead add-on slots after you hit tier 3. So you have 2 options here, and you're doing the smart thing that I like that people do. So kind of like Oni, there is a mutation economy or an infection economy, whatever you would call it. 3 full hits of a survivor. So like, you know, first infect, hit them once, down them, and then a zombie, that's tier 2. Or you go after 2 separate survivors. It's literally just like Oni. It's literally just like Oni. You can go for split pressure because fresh infects are worth more, just like how fresh hits on Oni are worth more blood. Or you can just, you know, completely single a single survivor, only using your tentacle every single hit, and then snag a zombie, and then you're good. You don't need Marvin's Blood. But I like what you're doing here. You're doing what I like to... It's the more efficient method, but it's literally up to the survivors and how they were grouped up. You can't do that yet. You're not in tier 2. Oh, that was a good plan. I liked that. I liked that. That was good. You didn't hit it, but it was a good idea. You need to click drag. You need to click drag. You're trying to flick and be fancy, which trust me, I get vain and try to do that too. But like, you should just click drag. Just click drag. Just start the attack and move your body horizontally and drag your hitbox across the survivors to cover as much area with that hitbox as possible. It is fancier and cooler if you hit the flick, but not as efficient. So, yeah. You're losing a lot of chase time trying to do the cool thing instead of the efficient thing. Move with your body. This Meg is also, you need to stop flicking and you need to click drag. This chase is going on so long and now you're leaving her with no pallets, no injury, no infect after that long of a chase. Good thing this Fong Mean is not paying attention. Well, you knew where she went. Yeah, you knew she went upstairs. Oh no. Oh gosh. Somebody would take it for me. Good students in the class, what just happened? Why am I cringing? Why am I like bracing myself? What just happened? What are we doing right now? Why am I panicking? I've made the mistake opening this infinite too. Yeah, if you break this breakable wall on the gen side, you open an infinite. There's a running joke among some of my close friends I play DVD with. We call this the forbidden door, and they literally tease me by going and like kicking it if I'm watching them play a game, like to like agitate me. They're like, "Oh, should I go kick this, Brad?" I'm like, "Stop! Don't stop! Why? Why would you do that?" Yeah, you open up an infinite when you break this door. Never, ever, ever break this door on Madam. Literally ever. It's the last thing you do. Don't open this door for any reason. That's not easy. It's good to see you. Don't ever, ever open that door for any reason. Yep, look, oh, there they go. They're like, ooh, wow, for free. I get to get out of here for free. Wow, that hit her? Brother, what? Wow, I would have been mad. When Badham glitched out both doors, didn't spawn, it was terrible. I remember playing that as Oni, and even in Blood Fury, I was having trouble. I'm like, this sucks. Luckily, she's running this very poorly. She's even taking the short side of the loop, which is interesting. This poor Fong Mean. You're doing a good thing. This complimentary thing. You're doing a good thing that I see a lot of Nemesis is like don't do. Is where like they get kind of like way too like obsessed with hitting tier 3 as quick as possible, which is still a good thing. That is still something you should be doing. But I see a lot of Nemesis is like will forego like an M1 there and extend their chase really long just to like try to get their tier up even quicker. You got to think that like you get that 1 extra meter range, which is cool, neat. But like, and that is helpful. Don't get me wrong, it is very helpful. It's very nice. But like, foregoing an entire hit, like, me when I want to do a cool trick on Nemesis. That's what I was talking about earlier, Indigo. It was like, I would be doing, like, this homie was missing a lot of shots because they were trying to go for flicks instead of click drags. And I'm like, I would also be doing that. Like, this is the pot in the kettle, right? I'd be like, I'm telling you to stop doing that because I am you. I'm like, it'd be cool if I flicked this. And it's like, it's probably better to click drag. Now you're sick? Are you also sick, Data? I'm sorry. I was bedridden most of the weekend. That was really... Cooties over the interwebs? Yeah, I got a cold flu or something. It was terrible. Yeah, because that's the important stuff. Being able to hit people over things, being able to very quickly break. I'm surprised I didn't hit. Being able to very quickly break breakable walls, palaces, sort of thing. That's like the most helpful aspect of the kit. So you still have that. So don't like forego hits for. Yeah, it matters a lot. But what I'm saying is like, don't forego like for example, like with that Fong Mean at this loop that they're at right now, like foregoing a hit just to kind of charge up tier 3, like especially when you have like pain res and stuff like that, it's kind of just like probably just take the hit, you know. Awkward and clunky, really? I feel like his tentacle is more lenient than most powers in the game. That's actually interesting. Crouching makes it not hit? Okay. We're gonna explain this right now, actually. I can actually explain that to you. Oh, we're going art class, kids. We're in art class. So, Xenomorphs tail attack is one little sphere, like a little dodgeball. And from the point that you start your tail attack to where you click drag, it's just this shape over and over and over and over again, just in a row. So that's how that works. Nemesises, we'll do that in like pink. Hello, hey blue, how's it going? How are you, friend? Nemesises is a circle on top of a circle on top of a circle on top of a circle. The reason that people crouching seems to mess with you a lot is because these 4 little tubes, they're like little Lincoln logs, they have to breach the object in order to hit the survivor. So like if Meg crouches her little butt down, she's like, oh, I just don't want to be hit by this. These are not going to make it past. These little purple, these little tubes aren't making it past. And even though this purple tube would technically clock her in the head, because part of it is touching, the whole thing is crossed out. Because part of that is hitting the collision, all of that tube goes away. So technically only this tube at the top is the one going over. And as long as she's crouched, it's not hitting her. That's why. That is literally why. That is how it was working on the back end of the game. So, I know it's a little complicated, but that is the answer to the question. So everyone's single one needs to hit? No. No, not every single one needs to be hit. Not every single one needs to be hit. Just the one that would hit them. Which conversely, which is why Xenomorph is very, very frustrating and why you hear me about collision all the time. Let's remake this scenario to compare the characters and why you would want the reason why you would want to play Nemesis over Xenomorph, since people ask this a lot. Let's take this same scenario where Meg's like crouched up, right? She's crouched up under this loop, right? And I'm doing Xenomorph, which is just like the same sphere over and over, right? So Xenomorph would be the same sphere over and over, so just in a line. So let's say I'm like shooting from here, trying to like lob the shot up and over. If I start the shot here, oh, this is kind of weird. Let me draw the arrow so you know what like kind of angle I was going for. If I'm trying the shot here, I'll draw the little guy, little lizard man. look at look at the little Xenomorph. Yeah, if I'm trying to do like a lob shot or something, right? What's gonna happen is because this little tube, like this little, it's not. Well, they are kind of like. They're kind of like tubes. Nice leaf bug. Because this little green thing is going to hit this all goes away. That's why this character is frustrating. Nemesis, if this little part of the attack hits the concrete here, only that circle goes. With Xenomorph, this hitting the concrete cancels the whole attack, which is obnoxious. It's very obnoxious. To be fair, it would make Xenomorph very, very oppressive and probably like a top 10 killer if it didn't work that way. But like it's very frustrating that because this will collide with the rock, the entire attack goes, even though the rest of it is aimed correctly. So essentially, you have to visualize in your head all of these little hitboxes as you're sending them out and make sure none of them are hitting collision. And this is not even considering the fact that in Dead by Daylight, often there's invisible collisions. So even though this rock, you can see this rock only goes up to here, sometimes the invisible collision says the rock actually has collision all the way up here. So now this whole thing is getting canceled. It's just stupid. But hopefully you've learned more about hitboxes with these two specific characters. Hopefully this was actually very informative. If you miss your band review game, it will be left on YouTube. Yeah, that's what those are the ones that I upload to YouTube. Are the ones that I know people aren't present for. So yeah, you don't have to be present. It helps because like I can get insight to why you made certain decisions, but you don't have to be. With tiles with low obstacles, is it the same concept? Yeah. The hitboxes don't change. The hitboxes don't change. I'm curious what you mean by, like, what about tiles with low obstacles? Like, how would that change how their hitboxes work? Do you think Blight's hug tech should be removed? Behavior thinks so. My problem with Blight is just the add-on's not really hug tech. It's entirely true, it is. It's been data mined. It's entirely true, Plum. You can say that, but it's not factual. They literally data mine the hitboxes. To your chat, thanks. Are you talking about the forbidden hay bale that had collision to the ceiling? Or like to the sky? Are you talking about that hay bale? That thing is an antagonist on this stream. We hate that thing. You get kind of lost here. Essentially, Plum, what you're saying is like the part of it that's hitting is not what you think is hitting. Tired pilot hand one of the loops of Burgo. Yep, that's the one we're referring to. Yep. Because it used to be solo. You could get that hay bale out in the middle of nowhere. Now it's part of a loop, but it has collision to the sky. Completely invisible. I don't know why. That little haystack has collision all the way up to the sky. Like, if you try to shoot over it, it just says no. no matter how high you aim. And it's just like, why? what happened? Why? Is it like, this is why like I wish I could like interview behavior. I'd be like, is it algorithmic? Like how do you come up with the collision boxes? Because stuff like that just shouldn't be possible unless something breaks, which, you know, it's Dead by Daylight, so, you know, something broke probably. But it's like, I just want to know how that happened. Well, that's because, okay, so to answer that, Orb, Xenomorph, okay. So to put this same scenario again, to talk about why Xenomorph can hit over things and Nemesis can't, it essentially boils down to the fact that there is no verticality to Nemesis's attack. So Nemesis is, remember, the 4 tubes. This is an attack that we're sending. So Nemesis sends an attack. He essentially creates walls. Think of it that way. This is like think of this square as a wall. He's sending a wall of attacks at you. Obviously, we described before, if it partially hits collision, it cancels out the hitbox. This one will still go over. But you have no vertical like power over this. This is not something that you have control over. Right? You only have horizontal play, not vertical play. The Xenomorph, however, has vertical play. So with my here, we can draw the arrow first. I can do this. I can send it up and over, and as long as I clear this object with all of my circles until my tail attack ends, I can't bop her on the noggin. I can't bop her on the noggin, because as long as I don't technically hit this, as long as I hit this arc clean, I can bop her on the noggin, because I have vertical play. I can adjust my attack up and down. Nemesis can't do that. Nemesis is locked at going, I go horizontally. I go forward or backward. You know, I am on the horizontal plane of existence. But I can bot people because I have vertical play. That is an advantage and a higher skill cap advantage to playing Xenomorph over Nemesis. While Nemesis is easier and hitbox is more lenient, you have no vertical play, whereas Xenomorph does. So, yeah. We're learning a lot today. Whoop, wrong screen. We're learning a lot today. Bop or smash, yeah. Don't say that, Janview. I'm scared. You're pushing a wall. Yeah, that is how I described it, isn't it? Yeah, if there's something in the way. If there's something in the way. The hitbox, one of the, like, it's 4 tubes stacked on top of each other. If it hits collision, it stops. If there's nothing there, it goes over. Whereas Xenomorph, like, if you hit any collision, the whole thing stops. But you can, like, arc it, and you have vertical play, and obviously you don't need to level up to have access to it. Like, it's a give and take. Xenomorph is the better killer just because they have map mobility. So, yeah, and also their zoning is better because they don't. Their Q to dodge is way less. But yeah. Castor Nemesis strong? Yeah, probably at the top of the B tier. I consider him and like Pinhead very like similar in strength. That's basically all my streams. Listen to me go like, listen to me go like, I ate how much that every time I try to throw this power, some weird janky collision just stops my entire attack as the Xenomorph. Realistically, if I never wanted to deal with it again, I would just play Nemesis. Animation looks faster. I'm pretty sure it's just extended distance. I'm almost 100% sure. I can double check. 2, 3. Okay, you tell me how to arrange it. I mean, that's kind of how B tier killer work in general, you know? Like they're really strong but beatable by like coordinated teams. Oh, Brian, what's up? What's up, Ash Alley? Doing pretty good with the delayed tentacle. Yeah, the click drag is like the bread and butter. The bread and butter. The click and drag is your bread and butter as this character. Played a Wesker game earlier. Is Wesker? Hitboxes are so gross. Yeah, he's another one of those where like you're if you're under any sort of slight latency, even if it's not that bad, you're gonna be hitting some weird stuff. You have 2K hours in Nemesis? Okay, so you're right. You are the right person to be asking. I like Nemesis a lot, but I didn't spend that much time on it. You know, it's probably not surprising that I ended up going to Xenomorph, considering like how much I liked Nemesis when I played them. Oh, what you're seeing, and I actually didn't know this. I have learned today. Every day is a school day. What you're seeing is not the recovery, but your movement speed with the tentacle out is 0.2 meters per second faster. You go from 3.8 to 4.0. That's very minor. So it's cool that you noticed that, because I never did. But we've all learned today. Yeah. Holding power. Uzi is here. Loves running enduring on Nemesis, so you can just like hold the tentacle and just like face tank to balance. Like, do it. Cracks me up. There I am, looming. I think you didn't do as bad as you think. I think there's just a lot of like... Misty, get off! Get off! It's also, it's obviously a very bad map for you, so you gotta keep that in mind. Yeah, honestly, I would not feel too bad about this. You're fairly new on Killer. There wasn't a lot in the way of like oppressive perks, but you were also on the one of the worst killer maps in the game. I think in terms of your main takeaways, hold on. Play some in the match review tiers, anything, you know, the gameplay now. Just upload it to YouTube. And then I review it here. Try not to slap on triple quad slowdown. Don't send me a 4K at 3 gens. That's not the point. Common sense things that I feel like I've never had to say, but like people do dumb stuff, so I've had to. It asked for the people buckle up, but it didn't really come to play, did it? I think one of the things that I saw pretty early on was that you were definitely going for flicks. So in terms of your main takeaways, flicks are nice and cool and look neat, but as Nemesis, you should definitely be click dragging. Flicks are cool, fun to go for, but especially since you're like, you know, newer to the killer role in general, you should definitely be playing with more safe options that help you learn the game instead of, you know, more difficult stuff. So I would click drag as the character. So start your attack and then move horizontally with your hitbox to cover as much area as possible in order to, because like what happened is you had a very, very rough early game. You had a very, very rough early game, and match time is gen time. When you have very, very long chases, that time adds up and that match time is gen time. So I think while you know, a lot of your hits looked cool and they were cool, they weren't hits. Like, you know, I remember one of the things that like stuck out to me as a child was I remember I used to play soccer when I was a kid, elementary school, middle school, and I remember my dad and I were driving back home from a match that I was very proud of. We lost, but I was very, very proud of it. I was like, Dad, I almost won. We almost got him. And then he was like, son, almost isn't a win. And I was just like, shook my life. Shook me to my core. I was like, oh. But yeah, you know, kind of a less deep experience here. But yeah, like the flicks looked neat, but you weren't landing them. You weren't landing them, so you weren't getting the infection rate, which means your chases were longer. You didn't enter your tier 2 and ergo your tier 3 longer. And that extended a lot of your chases quite a lot. Obviously, there's a lot of cool stuff that we ended up talking about in here about how the hitbox works in general. Hopefully, there were some takeaways there, which are just understanding how his hitbox works. So you can use that and implement that more. I do think that, I don't want to harp on your build, but like I really do think you could have used a little bit more in terms of synergy with your build. Obviously, your add-ons as well. I feel like I would get some coherence going on here. Big number 2 takeaway for Scherzies. Don't break the forbidden door. You literally open an infinite. Don't do that. Don't ever open that door. That door is an infinite. That makes already one of the worst killer or survivor-sided maps in the game. Even more survivor-sided. Don't open that infinite. Don't open that door. Don't ever open that door for any reason. If you don't know which doors to open and not open, I'm pretty sure Otz has done a video on like which breakable walls to touch and which not, and plenty of other content creators have done it. Please look that up. Become acquainted with what breakable walls to break and what not to break, because you definitely got ran a bit more than once on that infinite. So, yeah, but be aware of what breakable walls you should and shouldn't break. I mean, overall, I think it was a lot of the map working with you. There's some minor stuff, but like I would rather have you like focus on those two first and foremost, because like I don't want to overwhelm you right away, especially if you're newer to the character. We'll focus on like the bigger stuff as they continue to show themselves. Like this is like, there are some people that should remain nameless that submit a lot of match reviews, and like frankly they don't need it, and it's just like a fun thing for us to hang out, you know, shoot the breeze over, you know, some drinks and some rogue energy. Get 20% off with code headache. We can have some drinks, chill, watch some fun killer gameplay. Maybe there's a helpful thing here or there, but the ones like these match reviews, I want you to come back. I want you to submit more. I want you to see you implement the things I have told you, do the research on the things that I've told you, implement them into your games. I want you to submit more match reviews. That way I can see if you're doing all this stuff that I told you, and then we could work on like the bigger stuff, like, because like it's kind of hard to see through. Like if you're brand new at the game, you're learning a character like Nemesis, who has a lot of like complicated aspects to him despite being relatively simple. Like there's a lot we gotta digest here. There's a lot we gotta break down. So as you can just continue to submit match reviews, we'll be like, oh, okay, that is also an issue, and we should work on that. Or hey, this thing I thought was an issue earlier, seems like you got that under control. We don't need to worry about it anymore. So continue to submit match reviews, work on those two things right away, and we will see next time you submit a match review. If you choose to. You're not forced to, of course, by any means, but I would like to see you progress and get better, because you have got a little the fact that you were ambitiously going for those flicks, like we got a good one here. I would like to see you improve. Also enjoy your lurk bomb. Alrighty.